Everyday low fares and...
Well, Carlton lead by 25 points, but we figure it should in fact be 34 points. They've been robbed of 9 points, the Blues. Callum Chambers kicked a 9er. It was given as a 6-pointer. And then Teague played on. Robertson smothered it. It was over the line. Was it out of bounds? Field umpire said no. Robertson kicked the goal. It's all happening at the Telstra Dome. Brendan Favola's been reported, but the Blues seemingly are on their way to a Wizard Cup semi-final berth against the Western Bulldogs. Favola 4, Whitnell 4, Robertson 4 for the Demons. McDonald 20 touches for Melbourne. Houlihan, Lappin and Scotland 18 each for the Blues, Robert Wall.
We've been doing our calculations, incidentally, Rob. If Favola is found guilty, you'd probably assess him at the lower end as a negligent act. Maybe it would be considered reckless. It was high, and I'm saying if he was found guilty, it was in play, the contact perhaps medium. That'd come in at level 2, 225 points. That would be 2 weeks. And, of course, he does have a record from last year, although a guilty plea might balance that out.
Well, it's all new to us, isn't it, Tim? But I think you've calculated it pretty well. If he's found guilty, he may well get a week, I would think.
There's the membership details for Carlton and the Demons, and they changed the score on me just in a flash at three-quarter time. They've given Carlton an extra goal. Hope it wasn't the Favola kick. But the margin now is 31 points. I had it down as 25. Definitely 31.
Yep.
So, anyway, well, we've got 6 more points for Carlton anyway. Favola on the siren was not awarded the mark. Correct decision by the umpires, but he's got more worrying things ahead of him. Brendan Favola has been reported for an incident with Brad Green. Let's go down to Christy Malthouse.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, I can tell you that Brendan Favola has been reported for rough conduct, so that is the official charge for him.
Rough conduct. Is Melbourne going to attack? There's still life just for Melbourne, but they want to get the first couple of goals at least.
Paul Johnson from West Coast Eagles, thumping long left foot kick. Let's see what he does here.
It's the Blues by 31. Melbourne go deep into attack. Robertson, who's kicked 4, but not on this occasion as he puts it out of bounds on the full. 23 degrees still in Melbourne. Outside, it's 20 degrees inside at the moment at Telstra Dome. 86 plays 55, Blues in front.
Warmer to come over the next couple of days. Barnaby French.
He's been very good for Carlton, improving all the time. Just needs to be given that responsibility in the ruck, and he'll develop further and further.
Prendergast has been around at Optus Oval for a few years now, and he is full of enthusiasm and good spirit and plays some pretty competitive footy, but Bizzle's in the way. So the Demons have got to do a lot right here. The margin 31, and on the Stephen Quartermain correction factor, it should in fact be 40.
40, yes.
And yet Carlton have only had one more scoring shot. The Demons kicking for goal has been atrocious. Robertson to McDonald, and back to Robertson. It was untidy all the way. Bruce, free kick Melbourne's way. Play on called now as Bruce blazes, and in fact the advantage call, and I'm pretty sure it was that, is to their disadvantage.
Cameron Bruce been harassed for the last 3 quarters by Jordan Bannister, and Bannister's done a fine job for his side.
This is Waite. It's a high ball to the wing, and cammed underneath it is Bruce, and he's been awarded the mark. Despite some harassment from Bannister.
We saw Neil Danaher at 3/4 time really give it to his players. I think he'd be very disappointed with what they've served up in the first 3 quarters.
Because the Reverend looked as though he was preaching hell, fire and brimstone.
Well, he wouldn't let the assistant coaches talk to the players first, as they usually do. He said, I'll take control here, and he did.
To the 50. Jamar got pushed out in the marking contest, and the umpires awarded him a free. Too far out to score.
Watch out for the 9-pointer.
McDonald squares it up, hoping for a big hanger. Neitz is there, so is Robertson. Now, Robertson was just bumped out of the contest just before the ball came into the area, and I think that's what the umpire has ruled he has as a free kick coming back, and it is Robertson. Is it? Bit of confusion out there. Yes, Russell Robertson. So as he was flying for the mark, he really got buffeted out of the contest. Didn't have an opportunity to fly for the ball. And Russell Robertson will go back and line up for goal number 5.
You see Livingston just gives a bit of a nudge. Robertson plays it up. And the umpires say, yeah, well, we'll give you a free kick for that. Easy free kick.
What do you think, Tim?
I thought it was the smirk of a man who knew he'd pulled one over the umpire.
Robertson's kicked his 5th. So the Demons still alive?
Well, as far as marking forwards go for the Demons, David Neitz has given them nothing. Brad Miller has given them nothing. Robertson, who isn't as tall as them, but he certainly can get up in the air, he's been able to snag 5, so he's certainly done his job. And have a look at the mismatch there. Paul Johnson against David Teague. And they should really try to isolate that. Get all of the Melbourne forwards out of the 50 and just have the big Johnson back there in front of the goals. Put real pressure on Teague. Put it on top of Johnson's head. That's what he's there to do. Take the marks.
Another bounce off the vertical. When that happens, the umpires immediately call play on. McLean into half forward and Godfrey virtually on the 50 when he marked it. Demons need to string a couple together. Johnson, their only hope, as Neitz fell over. Robertson has been their only hope all day. He has 6. It's alive again.
And I guess with Johnson, Teague will only try to do one thing, and that's get a fist on the footy, because he knows he can't outmark him. And that can be an advantage for the Demons. And I think Thornton needs to be moved off Russell Robertson. Robertson's beaten him. Teague onto Robertson. Thornton onto Paul Johnson. And Dennis Pagan with the phone might be making that move now.
6 out of 9. Russell Robertson. Single-handed performance up forward. Melbourne alive again. 18 points in it early in the last. And there'll be another ball up.
And interesting, Lance Whitnell has put himself into the Carlton backline after those 2 early goals to the Demons. I think he's decided, well, I better shore things up.
Prendergast. Quick kick into Carlton's forward line. Bizzle off the pack. Sharked it nicely. 3 Demons peel off. They've got some run in their legs yet. Maloney. Squarey kicks a beauty to Neitz. That is a fantastic pass.
It is an absolute gem of a pass by Maloney.
So David Neitz directly in front. 40 metres out. There is life in this game yet. Don't worry about that.
It was a great kick. Travelled at least 50 metres, but hard and low.
Well, David Neitz is having a very, very ordinary night by his lofty standards.
3 behinds, and they've all been from set shots, I think I'm right in saying, and they've all been very kickable. Wantonly wasteful performance.
Gee, Sylvia, you cannot do that. You just can't let a bloke take a mark and then slam him into the ground with a 2-handed push. His team's got the ascendancy, and have a look at that. Time elapsed, no need for that.
Wiggins spearing it into the chest of Bannister. Carlton have always had the answers in this game. Miller, though, beats Favola this time for Ferguson. Long ball for Brown. Whitnell riding him. Played him well. Just 3 kicks in it. And Melbourne on their way back from the dead.
Might be 2 kicks in it, Tim.
Well, that's true. 2 long kicks. Crowd under 20,000. A little disappointing. An unusual time for the match. Twilight Sunday evening encounter, and perhaps it might be adjudged as something less than a success in crowd pulling terms. The takeaway for the Demons. Nathan Brown. Here's Neitz again. Hard for him from there. Godfrey Hard from there too, but that's not a bad kick. Ferguson kicks the goal. The Demons are alive.
And you know why Ferguson kicked the goal? Because his opponent is Lance Whitnell.
She almost got it, Robertson, didn't he? He's having a night out.
Well, Lance Whitnell put himself in defence. Neil Danaher made sure he had an opponent, and that is Ryan Ferguson. And that's the advantage of making sure that you don't let Whitnell freewheel by himself back there in the defensive half for the Blues.
All of a sudden, it is Carlton by just 11 points, and Melbourne at this stage seem to have a bit more run in the legs. Green to Bruce. Oh, that's brave by Chambers. Stood his ground. Houlihan. Is it intentional? No, says the umpire. Callum Chambers stood his ground. Knew the crunch was coming.
We've got a game now, and there are definitely two kicks in it, whichever way you look at it. The Demons are coming, but Nick Stevens, Carlton's acting captain, stands in their path and gives to Bannister. Stevens keeps running as the Blues look to produce the response. Oh, Bizzle in the way. Fine effort. Tall, athletic, and timely. And suddenly Melbourne stringing it together as they haven't done through the first 3 quarters of this match. James McDonald, who was their best early and perhaps still is, has had 23 uses of the ball. They don't stand the mark. Wheatley gives him a short target.
So Wheatley at half-back for Melbourne.
Teague still on Johnson.
Thumping kick to half-forward. Misses everyone. Ferguson again inside 50. Robertson in front, not quite. Whitnell's back there, so is Teague. The Blues all of a sudden under pressure, but Teague did it nicely. Beautiful kick under pressure. It was too to Scotland, who kicks it to half-forward into open space. Attacking it and backing himself was Miller, and he won the football. Here come Melbourne. Brown into the middle. Finds McLean. Kicks it wide. The lead's by Neitz. Robertson from behind almost. Free kick. It's a push, and it is going Johnson's way.
It's all Melbourne at the moment.
9-pointer, perhaps.
He's a long way from home. Odds against. Big kick. Won't quite carry. Neitz just couldn't get into the contest.
Gee, I think that was Lance Whitnell who got the fist on it.
Yep.
A lot of time left. And Melbourne with every chance now.
French. Kicks into the middle. Well, Bell couldn't take the mark, and he ended up tapping it straight to Chambers for a 9-pointer, and he's got one in the end. There is a God. Justice is done. And a very timely 9-pointer as well, Robert Walls.
Oh, gee, I like the way Chambers plays. We know he's got courage. He also has plenty of dash and dare about him. He took that ball on the wing and was prepared to run and carry. Very open forward line. And he's excited.
And I guess a bloke of his size who couldn't quite make it at West Coast is not necessarily a footballer lacking the ability to make it at another club because they're so rich in talent in their midfield.
Hang on, there's something happened here, And it was McGrath of Carlton has pushed a Melbourne player over, so a Demon free kick at the bounce.
Long ball Maloney. Whitnell. He has been magnificent. And he finds French.
After that Chambers goal, Whitnell pushed himself into the forward line. The runner came out and said, go back to defence. Whelan ducked his head. Don't do that.
Soccer off the ground by McGrath. Houlihan runs out of space.
Final quarter stats. Domination by the Demons, 39-22. And inside 50s for this quarter, 10-3. That 9-pointer, how important was that for Carlton?
Jamar the tap. Snared by Stevens. Good tackle, McDonald. Bizzle. Caught high, said the umpire.
Jeff White coming on. Jamar off. 50-metre penalty. Too slow getting it back to Bizzle.
Well, this game has really been broken open in the last term, and all sorts of things are happening now. And that could set up a 9-pointer. Man on the mark is at about 50 and a half. He wanted to stand on the paint. Did Jared Wade? I think he wanted the mark to be on the 50 to nullify the option of the 9-point goal. But the umpire indicated it was outside the 50.
Smart.
So Bizzle could kick a super goal. Long and high. Hanging. Alive. Robertson just couldn't claw it out. There's a goal to Uze, is it?
Soccer goal.
It was. There was about 6 goalies on the line too.
And he's had a pretty quiet game, Adam Uze, but you see the desperation. Carlton defenders flipped out. And Uze, sharp of mind, isn't he? He's a clever player.
Carlton 14, Albania 1.
Here's the Adam Uze goal.
And still just 2 kicks in it in this 9-point game. Look.
It's the Blues by 13. Ooh, solid bump in the middle. Melbourne win possession yet again. Another centre break. Maloney from 60. Long kick. Long. Goal. Super goal. It's a 9 out of the D's. It's a 4-point ball game. Blues in front.
James McDonald, a terrifically weighted hand pass. It just meant that Maloney was running at full tilt when he received it. You'll see this. He's running flat out, so he's got the momentum up. Couple of steps, and then bang. And some good jostle on the goal line. Enables that ball to go through for a 9-pointer.
From 31 down at the last change, the Demons within 4 points. Important centre contest this. Scotland fumbled but got it back. All Melbourne, 4 of them back there. And even then there was nearly a collision. Cameron Bruce with Whelan in space. Wheatley running to lay the Shepherd. McLean. Demons haven't been in front other than when they kicked the behind in the early moments. They nearly turned it over, but Miller's got it back to McLean. Neats from behind. Whitnell at ground level.
Neat's been moved out to centre half forward. Paul Johnson to full forward. Paul Johnson in the goal square against David Teague. It's David on Goliath. And that's the plan. Get it long to the top of the square. Let Johnson use his height against Teague.
55 out from Melbourne's goal. McGrath with his head over the ball. To Stevens. Ineffective disposal. Throw in on centre wing.
Melbourne have been in front for 30 seconds of the contest. Carlton have been in front for the other 94 minutes.
Teague has been taken off and Walker has gone down onto Johnson, and he is shorter than Teague.
White smashes it forward, but only as far as Lappin. Scrubs a kick into the middle. The chase is on. It's Bannister against Bruce. Bruce with his body over the football. Plays a bit of tunnel ball. Bizzle can't get it. Houlihan can. Here's a chance for Houlihan. Squares it up into the corridor. Scotland couldn't get it. Favola, great handball. McGrath.
Paul Wheatley let himself down. Not hard enough. Ball came to him on the bounce. You'll see it here. Gets it. Not hard enough. Coughs the footy up. Carlton goal.
Neil Danaher not happy. Fumble from Paul Wheatley, who was actually running back towards the goal he was defending. I just wonder, because he was heading in that direction as he got his hands onto the ball, whether he had a moment of self-doubt and he fumbled it. And Corey McGrath made him pay. Down to 2 kicks again. Carlton's way. McLean. Uze should mark this and does. Thrown to the ground by Spawn. He's tempting fate.
Carl Norman at fullback on Johnson.
Thought Spawn was a little lucky there. Poor option from Uze. Whitman. He's been the standout player again for the 2nd week in a row. McGrath, who's kicked 2 second-half goals to have an impact for Carlton. Those 2 goals at this moment are the difference, with the Blues leading by 10 points. Good kick hugging the boundary line, and if it came off Favola's hands, there was only one place it was going to go.
Leading stat getters in the game: McDonald 25, McLean 23 for the Demons, Stevens 22, Houlihan 21 for the Blues. Here's another one for McLean. Wobbles 1.5 forward. Neats in front. Gathers. Harassed by Livingston. Did it nicely, but Neats still got the handball away. Lappin dangerously knocked it into the corridor. Whitnell.
Good kick.
It was. Straight down the throat of Chambers. He's kicked 3 goals, Chambers, including a 9-pointer. Well, it was 2, but only awarded 1. And his kick finds Houlihan at half-back.
Waiting for Favola to get into position to contest this. Blues are happy for Barnaby French, their ruckman. Barnaby French is 120 metres away from this contest in a defensive spot in front of Russell Robinson. That means Favola will ruck.
Free kick to Melbourne.
And that's the worry when you have non-ruckman ruck.
Favola's arguing that, in fact, he went up in the ruck against White and the Miller was a 3rd man in, therefore he was allowed to bump him. Umpire said no.
That's a big grab from Ferguson. Gee, there was some pushing and shoving. There was a lot happening in that exchange. As we enter the last 5 minutes, time enough for the Demons. Scarcely been in front all night. Can someone snare this? No, they can't. McLean, Brown, Uze dangerous with the left, but he can't get onto it. And Lappin got a telling hand in there and gives the Blues a lot of territory. Bruce versus Bannister. Bannister, good stopper. Not a bad result for the Blues.
Good steal by Matthew Lappin. Good position to put it out wide on the wing. And again, Barnaby French stays back in Carlton's defensive 50. And I think we're going to have Walker do the ruck work against White.
And not surprisingly, White wins the tap. But it wasn't really an effective one. Wheatley to McDonald. Heffernan backs himself, drills it back inside 50. Neitz is out of position. Good mark, Livingston. Well done.
Yes, he did well. Stood his ground.
And his kick finds Houlihan. Gee, it's only February.
Had some terrific games in the Wizard Cup.
Yeah.
Good finishes. And Carlton will be looking to maintain possession. If they can't maintain possession, kick it long towards the boundary line.
Good mark, Scotland. Quarters have run 24, 27 and 26. This has been going the best part of 24. Carlton dangerous here. Chambers, did he do enough? No play on. Wiggins, rolling, trickling, dribbling, goal. It just had enough on it. Through the legs. The foot never left the ankles. Carlton lead by 17 as a result of that. Melbourne need 2 super goals to snatch this game.
If it was soccer, it'd be 1-1. One to Uze, one to Wiggins.
In fact, 16 is the margin.
Is that enough for Carlton? Stevens wins it in the middle. Little kick to half forward. Waite pops it over the top for Vola. Bizzle with courage. They've got the extra man. That was brilliantly done by Clint Bizzle. He's had some heavy knocks the last couple of years, and he didn't shirk the issue there. White to Godfrey.
Barnaby French in the hole. Jeff White off.
Looks for Neitz. Whitnell the double fist. McDonald. Houlihan. Jamar kicks it to the tip of the goal square. Oh, almost. But no mark as Livingston clears and heads for the hills. And did it nicely.
I reckon that might have been their last chance, Melbourne. Uze threw himself looking for a free kick. Umpire said, I'm having none of that.
This might be as good a game as Luke Livingston's played for Carlton. Very solid back there. Done a great job for them.
Inside 50s, just dominated by the Demons this quarter.
Walker been pretty quiet. Spent some bench time. Favola been outstanding. Kicked 4 goals, but had his number taken.
Smart.
Lapham. Carlton by 16, and the Blues poised now for what would be a well-deserved victory and a semi-final showdown with the Bulldogs. Lapham goes for distance. Too much of it. Whelan to take the resultant free kick for the Demons. They really do now need 2 9-pointers to snatch it.
Kick straight up the middle. Whitnell desperate. So's Ferguson on hands and knees. Somehow won the football. Shoveled it out to Brown.
Good
Robinson
spoil.
couldn't take the mark. It was a great spoil. Chambers again. He's had some sort of night too. Drills it right into the middle of the ground. McGrath, clever kick to Norman. Poor kick to half forward. Whelan can't trap it. There's Wheatley. Sidesteps, tripped. Now Miller to the wing. And Godfrey's soccer, I think's on the full. No, it was touched, said the umpire. So throw in. It's the Blues by 16 points.
And Dennis looking as though he's just relaxing a little now. Looks can be deceptive, of course. The reality probably much different. Melbourne's ball. Jamar, Rigoni. Got to make something of this and then kick one straight out of the middle, you'd reckon. And they might kick one here. Heffernan. But 6 points is not really enough. The margin is still 10.
And Chris Heffernan, just his third kick of the game. It's a good one on his left boot.
Well, they need a 9-point play out of the middle.
How long to go, Tim?
Not long. A handful of seconds, I'd reckon.
Blues by 10 points. It's been an entertaining game in this Wizard Cup quarter-final for Vola. 12th mark. He's kicked 4 goals. He's been reported. He's wasting time. Whitnell and Favola, 25 marks and 8 goals between them. And 38, make it 39 possessions. There it is. The Blues are home. They have defeated the Demons by 10 points. Next week, the Wizard Cup semi-finals. It is the Eagles against the Kangaroos at Subiaco. And it is the Western Bulldogs playing the Blues at Telstra Dome. Hope you enjoyed the match. We'll see you next week for the Wizard Cup semi-finals. Good night.